I'm Susan. I'm a pastor on Cape Cod, and today I want to talk about Christmas. The one thing that most people are looking for at Christmas is peace. Peace in the world, peace in their families, peace in their own heart. And yet, Christmas is a hard time to be peaceful. Lots of folks are running around searching for the perfect gift. Lots of other people are trying to figure out how to get along with one another and how to avoid talking about the wrong things at the holidays. And some people are so depressed at the holidays, peace is the very last thing on their mind. So today I want to talk about a story at the beginning of the whole Christmas story. It's about a man named Zachariah. He has a lot to teach us, I think. Now, Zachariah was a good guy. He was a righteous man who did whatever he thought God wanted him to do. And all he wanted was a family, but he never had one. He and his wife Elizabeth, whom he loved a lot, were well matched. They were well suited to each other, but they never had any children. So one day, while he was doing his job, he was a priest in the temple in Jerusalem, and while he was there, the angel Gabriel, the same one that came to Mary, the angel Gabriel came to him and said, Zachariah, you and your wife Elizabeth are going to have a boy. And he's going to be special. He's going to be an amazing prophet. And he's going to help the people prepare for Jesus. And Zechariah was incredulous. And he said to the angel, how can this be? My wife is very old. We're long past the opportunity for having children. What are you talking about? And the angel said to him, Zechariah, you need a new attitude. And so you're not going to be able to say anything. I'm going to make you mute until this child is born, and then we'll see. And so Zechariah lost the ability to speak. This prestigious faith leader couldn't do anything, couldn't do his job, couldn't debate, couldn't make pronouncements, couldn't lead worship, couldn't do anything because he couldn't talk. And as he watched his wife's belly grow, he learned a lot. He learned a lot about God's ways, and he learned a lot about respecting the fact that God can make all of our lives new anytime. And so when the child was born, they named him John, which was an unusual choice because it wasn't a family name and people didn't name their kids John in those days. Not maybe Jonathan, but not John, John. But in Hebrew, the word means God has been gracious to us. And it showed that Zechariah had really come around and that he had received the gift that God was offering to him. The story tells us a lot about how people change. And it also helps us to see that sometimes we need to be quiet in order to let God's gifts in. We need to be silent in order to listen more to the people around us. We need to think differently. And the only way to do it is not to keep talking, but to be quiet. I was reading recently in Christian Century another story about another father who lived in California. He was an attorney and he liked to fix things. He said, I like to look at a problem and figure out solutions. I do that with my colleagues at work. I do that at my church. I do that with my family. And I've always done that. And the only time it didn't work was when my daughter had some serious mental health problems that landed her in a whole string of different institutions and then group homes. She would often call me, and when she did, she would complain and tell me she wasn't in the right place and she wasn't happy. And I would always come up with solutions and ideas for how to fix the problem. And one day she called from a place in Texas, and I didn't know what to do because it was the same conversation again and again, and she was complaining. And for some reason that day, a Holy Spirit or some kind of spirit came over me, and I didn't say anything. I was quiet. I just listened. I was silent. And I listened to everything she had to say, and the conversation ended differently. At the end of the conversation, she just looked at me and said, "Thanks, Dad. Thanks for listening. I feel so much better now." It was a turning point for her and for me. It taught me the power of silence. If there's one thing I could recommend to you in this season, it's that you try being silent each day as you prepare for Christmas. Try getting out of the rush and hum of life for a little while every single day. And just being quiet may help you receive the gifts that God's hoping to send your